News 25 is brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrumps optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight, a car is consumed by fire, and new rules are put in place for marijuana businesses. News 25 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
A convenience store is threatened when a vehicle catches fire. It's Monday, May 13th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. A high-risk fire is extinguished quickly by emergency crews. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, and even Nye County Animal Control responded to a vehicle fire on Leslie and Irene Street in the parking lot of Coyote Corner. Nye County Animal Control helped with traffic control so that firefighters could extinguish the fire, and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies could ensure the safety of the public and individuals inside the structure. According to Fire Chief Scott Lewis, the fire started as a mechanical failure near the rear driver's side of this black Mercedes-Benz. There was no further extensions to the buildings or to the gas pumps. There was also a large propane tank in the same parking lot. The vehicle was completely destroyed by flames, and there was no injuries reported. And 2 people were reportedly uninjured in a crash that happened Saturday near the center of town. 2 people were transported by ground ambulance to Desert View Hospital as a result of a 2-vehicle accident that occurred Saturday afternoon on Basin Avenue and David Streets. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to the scene. How the accident occurred is under the investigation of the local sheriff's department. And 97-year-old actress Doris Day has passed away. The legendary actress died early this morning, surrounded by a few close friends at her home in Carmel Valley. She had celebrated her 97th birthday just last month with nearly 300 fans who gathered in Carmel to celebrate with her. Her spokesman says that Day had recently contracted a serious case of pneumonia, which resulted in her death. Day was one of the top female box office stars in Hollywood history, with a #1 ranking in 1960, 62, 63, and 64. She made 40 movies in the height of her fame, capturing the audience with her acting skills, charm, personality, humor, and of course, legendary beauty. More money is being funneled towards armed forces. Angela Miles reports.
Topping our news, a surge in money for the military is happening, and it's happening worldwide. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute reports global military spending is on the rise, reaching $1.8 trillion. That is the most in decades. Rising global tensions are said to be behind the boom. The numbers could shift in the U.S., but the Hill reports the U.S. Navy alone is increasing the budget for its nuclear submarine program by $5 billion to be spent by 2024. It's part of a program that began under former President Obama and accelerated under the Trump administration. One of the sectors in the stock market being closely watched by investors is demand for drones. The U.S. Department of Defense is requesting $9.3 billion for unmanned systems. That is up from $7.5 billion. AeroVironment is one of the larger producers of military drones.
Thanks so much, Angela. We'll have more, including a story about Apple apps right after this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. The Supreme Court has paved the path for iPhone owners to file a class action lawsuit who accused Apple of violating U.S. antitrust rules. A group took their case to the highest courts, claiming Apple's App Store is a monopoly. Justice Brett Kavanaugh said that when retailers engage in unlawful anti-competitive conduct that harms consumers, people buying those companies' products have the right to sue. The court's 4 liberal justices joined Kavanaugh in the 5-4 decision. Experts say the ruling could have wide implications for other tech companies in the future. County commissioners have put fines and fees in place for late payments from local marijuana facilities. The Nye County Commissioners on their agenda had a discussion and deliberation to consider the business impact statement prepared for Nye County Bill number 2019-05. This bill proposes to amend the Nye County Code Title V regarding business licensing and regulations. This bill would amend the existing late fees for the annual renewal of marijuana licenses by increasing by 25% every 30 days until renewal fees are brought current. The failure by businesses to pay the monthly marijuana business fee will result in a late fee of 25% of the amount due. Failure to pay the monthly fee within 90 days will result in an automatic suspension of the license and require a show cause hearing to consider possible further suspension or revocation of the license.
So this item is only to accept the business impact statements. This is not making a change to the Nye County Code. Motion to approve.
That's correct.
Second.
There a motion and a second to consider the business impact statement?
Mr.
Further
Chairman.
discussion.
Yes, I have a few questions. Why were these not included in a timely manner when we were continuing these items previously? It is to my understanding that the business impact statements are supposed to be done when we are hearing those items, and we fortunately continued those items to a later date, but I just would like clarification why they weren't done in a timely manner.
They were done in a timely manner. Per NRS, we did get the business impact statement. We did have intentions of asking for the item to be continued till this meeting when it was on the agenda the last time, so these could be considered and accepted prior to you guys hearing that bill.
But Mr. Wagner, having it on the agenda ready to be heard, I understand your staff was asking it to be continued, but that was because you did not have the business impact statements performed, correct?
That's correct, because they had until April 9th after we had already done the draft and had it on the agenda the first time we were notified of the requirement of the business impact statement.
So
that's when we put out the request.
So you moved the cart before the horses, to my understanding.
Mr. Blender, may I make a suggestion? That if you're trying to get your mind around procedures and how things follow through, if you could meet with Brett after the meeting or when he's back in Pahrump, I'm sure he will give you all of that information that you need so you understand what the procedures are. My motion stands.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Wickman, but I would like an answer from the department head.
And what will it change, regardless of what the answer is, Leo?
I believe well, I'm not going to get into it.
It doesn't make a difference. It's before us now to make a decision. We're making a decision. It doesn't matter if it's been held off for a month or two. These kind of changes can go on for quite a while if necessary.
And decisions whether you need a statement or not can change depending on what happens. So
right.
This time I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Was that an aye from you, Leo?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Unanimous.
The county budget meetings we had recently brought to light requests for additional staff in various departments, including information technology.
Brad Adams, who is with Nye County Information Technology, was at the April 30th Board of County Commissioners meeting. The discussion was for 2 separate positions, a GIS administrator and a GIS technician. While both positions are critical, the administrator is of more importance, as stated by Adams.
That person would be theoretically over the tech whenever we hired a tech. So
that is correct.
The administrator would learn what we're doing and then could impart that knowledge down to the tech whenever we hired the tech.
Right.
Thank you.
These GIS positions and the GIS system itself heavily affects at least 4 departments.
Sam has something to say too, Mr.
This
Chairman.
is Sam from the clerk's office. Our voter registration system will integrate with the GIS system. which I am looking forward to. At some point, it would be so helpful for our office to have all of those street ranges in correctly instead of manually input by my office. So I am absolutely for this.
I think we all feel the same way. That'll now affect 4 offices, 4 departments, which is outstanding.
Commissioner Blundo asks if, since it affects so many different departments, is it possible to charge them? Savannah Rucker, the comptroller, responds.
It's possible. If they were in another fund, we could set up a project to back charge that fund, for example, the roads fund. It's definitely something we could have a discussion about.
Okay. I would be wrong, Ms. Shamrell, you can correct me, because I believe I would be wrong in stating that since it names certain individual employees here, their pay would not be decreased by a certain amount due to less responsibilities.
It depends on if the job description changed.
Safe assumption, Commissioner Blundo.
Their pay would stay the same.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So would that have to go through a union to adjust their job description, or
Well,
that would just be something internal?
If there was a significant change to their job description, the only thing we negotiate with the associations is the pay that we associate to the job. So management has a right to set the duties and responsibilities. What we negotiate is we establish what we believe is the appropriate pay, and then we negotiate that with the associations. There is a GIS administrator position that already exists, so that was a mistake on my part in relaying that to Savannah. The position that doesn't exist is the technician. So I would agree with Brad that if we were going to do one, the administrator would make the most sense also from the HR standpoint, because then we'd then be establishing a position based on really what is the need once we have that worker be underneath that administrator.
Agreed.
Well, last week was National Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you, teachers. As we wrap that up, we want you to meet a teacher who's worth following. Literally, when he changed schools, he wasn't expecting dozens of his students to go with him, but that's exactly what happened. As Kim Martinez reports, his strong presence in the classroom comes from his background as a professional boxer and an Army vet.
What are we talking about when we say at this rate?
Anthony Mooney is a very unique 6th grade math teacher, a former boxer, an Army Special Forces officer, and a family man. He's also a game changer for many of the students at this Las Vegas charter school.
I think with the relationship we built, I think they said, you know, they believed that I believed in them.
That belief has translated into some serious accomplishments for Mr. Mooney's kids. Improved scores in every subject, including math and reading. But that's not all. Many of the students in this charter school have shown big changes in attitude, both in school and at home.
If I can help with instilling some, just values and morals.
My kids didn't really have a father figure on their life, so when they got to Mr. Mooney's class, he actually stepped in that role that gets needed so much.
Maria Estrada, who also volunteers at Nevada Prep, transferred both of her sons to the school when Mr. Mooney changed schools last year. She was not alone.
Mr. Mooney has such a special connection to his students that when he said he was coming to this school to teach 6th grade, 40 of last year's 5th graders followed him.
It's a remarkable story, but no less remarkable than the man himself. After nearly dying because of a critical heart issue, Mooney had one thing weighing heavy on his mind as he awoke.
I remember when I came out of the surgery, I'm sorry. The only thing I thought about was my children.
He's not talking about his family. He's talking about the children right here in his classroom. He went back to school just 3 days later.
Every single day that I get up, I think about what do I have to do today to make a difference. I just think about, the opportunities that are there for them if they're only guided in the right direction.
For Ed Newsfeed, I'm Kim Martinez.
Thanks so much, Kim. You know, there's a teacher that I follow here. It is Dr. Unette Gentry. Unette does our news here on Tuesday and Thursday and also does our court reports. And she's actually a professor at CSN. She has her doctorate in sociology and teaches sociology there, and I wanted to say thank you to her since we're recognizing teachers. And as well, an interesting class she's teaching right now is how media and the news affects society. Interesting class. We'll be back with more education-related news that's a little bit different right after this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Well, actress Felicity Huffman pleaded guilty today to paying $15,000 to a fake charity associated with Rick Singer, who has confessed to helping wealthy parents get their kids into college by cheating. Huffman appeared in a Boston federal court this morning. Prosecutors have asked that the judge sentence her to 4 months in jail, 1 year probation, and a $20,000 fine for the felony charge for her role in the college admissions scandal. She will be sentenced on September 13th. Singer also bribed college coaches to falsely designate students as recruited athletes. The Special Olympics Torch Run is happening soon. The public's invited to join law enforcement and team members at the event held locally. The Special Olympics annual event, the Law Enforcement Torch Run, will be happening on May 18th. The run begins at the Calvada Eyes Government Center on Walt Williams Drive. A dozen Special Olympic athletes will be joining law enforcement and run through the Calvada Eye, north on Highway 160, and ending at the Ian Deutsch Government Complex on Basin Avenue. The event begins at 7 a.m. with the torch lighting at 8 and the run beginning with athletes and law enforcement who escort the runners down the highway. This event is just in time to send our local athletes off to Reno at the end of the month for the 2019 Special Olympic Summer Games, where they will be competing in various track and field events. You can support your Special Olympics team by going to specialolympics.donordrive.com/team/6345. You can also join the Nye County Sheriff's Office and run with them at this event by registering and paying a $25 donation. To register for this event, go to specialolympics.donordrive.com. Let's go to Josh with today's Great Computer Deals Tech Tip.
Reporting from my man cave, it's Josh from Pahrumph's own Great Computer Deals, and it's time for another quick tutorial. If you guys are like me, you like to keep up with the headlines, so you open up your browser, you're scrolling through, but there's a little bit of a problem, isn't there? It's that print. It's so darn small. Who could be expected to read that? Well, let's be honest, our eyes are not getting any better, so what do? Well, I got a nice little trick for you that you're gonna love. All you gotta do is press and hold down the control key on your keyboard, and while you're pressing that down, use the scroll wheel on your mouse to scroll up. As you're doing that, you're going to notice that the print gets much, much larger. Way easier to read. Of course, if you want to go backwards, press and hold down the control key, scroll down, and it returns to normal size.
Still need help? Come to our store where you'll find low prices and friendly faces. We're located at 1190 East Highway 372, or call us at 775-990-8833.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Let's take a look outside on that weather cam, see what we got. Wind, and we're going to find out more in our week's weather right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real. And by Pahrump Rental and Do It Best Hardware. Your friendly small town hardware store. Shop small, shop local.
Hello and welcome back to News 25. I'm Michael Donahue with today's temperatures. In Las Vegas, we have a high of 90 degrees, a low of 69. In Death Valley, we're cracking those triple digits with a high of 102 and a low of 73. In Amargosa, a high of 90 and a low of 62. In Beatty at 87.56. 79.48 in Goldfield. Tonopah at 78, and a low of 48. Carson City at the high of 78, a low of 45. Fallon at 84.46 and Fernley at 83.45. Now today in Pahrump, We've had sunny skies, a high of 90 degrees. Winds coming out that west-southwest at 8 miles per hour. 20% humidity, and our sunrise was at 5:39 this morning. Now for tonight, it's currently 88 degrees outside with partly cloudy skies. Our low tonight is expected to be 63 degrees with 10-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the south-southeast. 31% for humidity, and our sunset expected around 7:41 p.m. Now looking ahead to our 7-day, today and Tuesday we had some sunny skies, but now we have some clouds rolling in, and this Thursday we're expecting a 50% chance of rain. Temperature-wise, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we had a high of 89 and 87 degrees. And Thursday, with that rain coming in, we're going to drop way down to 66. And then Friday through Monday, our highs are expected to be within that 70-degree range, just between 70 and 77 degrees. For overnights, on Tuesday and Wednesday, lows of 64 and 60 degrees. On Thursday, once again with that rain, we're going to drop way down to a low of 48. And then this Friday to next Monday, we're just going to be in those low to mid-50s, just between 51 and 55 degrees for overnights. So now if you can't make it home in time to catch the news live on TV, make sure to check out our Facebook page. You can catch the news live every night at 5, as well as any other news and updates. So now we're going to throw it back to the desk with Deanna.
Thanks so much, Michael. Well, we want to thank everybody who came to the Jason Breslin fundraiser and the Randy Anderson Band on Friday night. We'll have that story on tomorrow night's broadcast. But we wanted to let you know that we earned $12,000 for Jason Breslin and his family. He is an accident victim who was in a crash when a vehicle struck him in early part of January. And he is still in critical condition in a trauma center in Las Vegas. So we want to wish his family the very best and thank everyone who donated and who attended the event. It was a lot of fun. Of course, the Prump Nugget who donated so much to that. And also, tomorrow night, I'm going to be serving chili at the Catholic Church there on Gamebird Road. And cross street is Prump Valley Boulevard. They're going to be featuring my prize-winning chili, so I'm super excited about that and very honored to have been asked. So we'll see you there tomorrow night if you're going. It's from 5 to 7 p.m., and it is a wonderful fundraiser for this church. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio 103.1 FM. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.